is the yarn that I'm using. I believe it's like called like s'mores, or I don't know. I'll put the name here because I don't remember what it was called, and the yarn weight. But I'm using a size hook 5, and it just started off by making a chain that will fit around my waist. So I'm gonna chain one more, and this will be my turning chain. I'm gonna turn my work, so now that we're facing the back side of the chains, and I'm just gonna put double crochets into the top loops, just like that. And I'm gonna work my way all the way down. This will be probably one of the only, I mean, it's up to you, but because this is like a freehand skirt, so it's like whatever like holes you like or whatever kind of stitches you want to add, you can do. But I just like that the first part of the skirt goes like, it's like all the way covered. So I'm just gonna double crochet all the way down to the end. I know I'm not at the end, but I'm not gonna be home to be able to record this part, so pretend that this is the end. Once you're there, you're just gonna chain one, and you're just gonna work back down and keep doing double crochets for the next 4 rows, or up until you want to start adding like holes and stuff, and like extra double crochets or any ruffles or anything like that, or any mesh stitches, really anything. You're just gonna want to like make double crochets until you want to start adding. So for me, I'm gonna start I'm gonna do 4 rows of this, so I'll come back once I'm done with that, but it's all up to you on how you want your skirt to look. So I ended up only doing 3 rows of double crochet, so I'm gonna stop here and I'm gonna start adding increases. So I'm just gonna chain one and then turn my work. And then because this is like a freehand, I'm gonna just be adding like random mesh holes throughout, but I'm gonna keep the same pattern of the increases I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna put a double crochet in the first stitch, and then I'm gonna make 7 more double crochets before I add an increase. Okay, so this is the 8th stitch, and I'm just gonna add an increase, so 2 double crochets in 1 stitch. Yeah. And then I'm just gonna keep doing that same pattern, so I'm gonna keep just adding an increase every 7 after every 7 stitches. So in the 8th stitch you'll put an increase, and then I'll meet you back at the end of this row. Okay, so real quick, I'm gonna add a mesh stitch right here, so a big hole. So I'm just gonna chain 7, and then I'm gonna count the 7 stitches and then put my increase in the 8th stitch. Okay. So I just attach it by doing a double crochet. And then I just put my 2nd stitch, and then I'm just gonna keep going. Okay, so I did another 7 stitches with the increase, and then I'm gonna chain this time. I'll just do 4. And then put it in the 4th stitch. I'll put my increase. Oh shit, wait, no. I'm moving the camera. Okay. Okay, so I'm just gonna put a double crochet in here. and keep going. So because I had 4, now I'm just going to do 3 double crochets, and then I'm going to add my increase. So however many holes you want to add is up to you. Just follow the same pattern of making sure you add an increase every 8th stitch. So I'll just keep going, and I'm probably going to add a couple more holes, but I don't have to explain that part to you guys because you should know by now. I'm kidding. But yeah, okay, I'll be back. Okay, so I decided that like I was gonna make a different kind of mesh stitch. So instead of making it so it's equal, the chain stitches, I'm gonna actually do it where the chains are more than how many stitches are gonna be in between. So by that I mean I'm gonna do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'll do 8 chains, and then I'm gonna put it into the 4th stitch. So 1, 2, 3, 4, to get a different kind of mesh look to it, like that. And so now I'm just gonna keep making double crochets until I reach my 7th stitch. So, or I mean my 8th stitch, sorry. So yeah, that's how you basically freehand make a bunch of mesh holes with different sizes and different patterns, so you can experiment however you want, but this is how I'm gonna make mine. And you can also experiment, like I could do a treble crochet here, just if you want different, like a different pattern or a different look. You see how it like makes that like kind of like ruffle. You can also add like multiple stitches into one stitch in order to get like almost like a scallop kind of look, like this. I just put 1 double crochet, 1 treble crochet, and then another double crochet. Then you'll get that kind of look to it. So really just freehanding is you do whatever, but you just want to make sure that it looks the way that you want, and then you can just always go back. So I'm just going to keep making my skirt, just doing a bunch of random stuff, but I'll come back and show you guys how I do some of the rows. Okay, because I have like different sizes, so my waist is smaller, but I've got like bigger hips a little bit. I'm going to start adding increases, so it just depends on like your sizing. I'm sorry, I know I say that a lot, but it does. I'm gonna start adding 2 increases on the first 2 stitches, so like that. Because this fits around my waist, but it won't fit around anymore, and even though we are gonna end up tying it like on the side, I still want it to like kind of cover me a little bit more, because this skirt I kind of want to be able to wear out. So now, instead of every 8th stitch, I'm gonna do it after every 5th stitch. I'm gonna add an increase. So in the 6th stitch, I'm gonna add 1 increase. So that was 5 stitches, and now I'm gonna do my increase. And just because, why not? You don't have to do this, but I'm gonna do 1 double crochet, then I'm gonna do a treble crochet, and just a treble crochet is just you yarn over twice instead of once, and you still pull through both loops. at a time, like that. And now the stitch is a little longer, but I kind of like that look, so now I'm just going to keep going. And yeah, so as I keep going down and creating the rows, I'm going to make increases at the beginning, just so that way it flares out a little. So I'll come back. Let me do a little more. Sorry, I just try to save storage. Hopefully I get a camera soon, so I can have like all this on a memory card instead. So I chained 3. I'm just gonna put it, I guess, here. I'm gonna chain 4 and put it in the 3rd. And so now that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I'm gonna do 2 treble crochets, because why not? And at first, sometimes it can feel weird with how many loops there are on the hook when you do treble, but I promise you'll get used to it if you're a beginner. So those are 2 trebles. And then just keep going. And you could end up skipping. Here, I'll do that for the next one here. Oh, sorry. You can also just, like, I'm telling you, with freehand, you can do whatever. So I'll just chain 2. And we'll do another treble crochet for fun. And we'll put it in the same stitch after. And that's also how you can make a mesh stitch without like leaving a huge gap. But you can do whatever. You don't have to do what I'm saying, like do it. I'm only doing that for the ruffle effect, but you don't have to do what I'm doing. You can do whatever you want. So hold on. So this is my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This would be my 6th. Alright. So I'm going to just chain 1. And then make an increase here now. I'm going to just switch back to double crochet. Okay. Now I'm just going to chain like a larger gap. How many did I just chain? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9. We'll keep going. 10, 11, 12. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So if I wanted to, I could put it. Sorry, my dog's in the room. If I wanted to, I could put it right here. Minuta, give me 1 second. This is 12. Oh. But I could put it here to make a bigger effect. But you know what? I'm just going to do. Hold on. Sorry. I lost my place. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I heard you, Minuta. Her name is Minnie, by the way, but that's just her nickname. This little dog. Okay. Let me open the door for her. Okay. I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna add just a random treble crochet. Okay. So because I didn't have any double crochets right here or increases, I just ended that row with a decrease. An increase, sorry. Oops. So now there's just a random treble crochet right there. And then I'm going to work through the top loops So not through both, but just the top. I'll do another treble. Yeah, so freehand is basically just doing whatever you want. So yours probably won't look exactly like mine. And that's okay because it's freehand and you're just doing whatever. And honestly, I discovered freehand when I was like first learning how to crochet, because I was just like, who's to tell me I can't do this? And then I learned it's an actually like, I was like, who's to tell me I can't do whatever I want? And then I learned it was an actual thing. So I just thought that was crazy because I made like a mesh. It was a mesh actually for the Morticia dress when I first made the first like demo piece. Or what would you say, demo? Yeah. The first trial run, I made a mesh like free-handed red bolero, and I was like, wow, that's so pretty. And so I continued to make a black one after that. Okay, sorry. I will come back at the end of the row. I'm just going to keep adding just a bunch of random stuff. So the same way that we started, I'm going to add my increases. Now I'm going to chain one, turn my work over, and do the same thing I'm going to do. Sorry, I'm going to do 2 increases. Then now I'm going to want to intensify the ruffle a little because I feel like it's falling flat. So I'm going to do an increase every 3 stitches. So 1, 2, so I'm just going to put an increase in the 3rd stitch. Then I'm just going to keep doing that all the way down. So you'll see your ruffle start to build a little. And I just want to start it early, just so that way the entire body of the skirt looks ruffled. So yeah, I'm just going to keep doing that, adding a bunch of holes, and I'll come back once I've built up the body of the skirt. Okay, so now that I've got my rows in, I'm just going to, and real quick, a little disclaimer. So after I did the increases, I then decided to just do double crochets, no increases, and just let the skirt form by itself. And then I did add a couple more holes, but that was it. Then what we're gonna do now is after you chain 1, pull it tight. You're gonna slip stitch to the top of the skirt. Okay, and I'm gonna stop about there. So now what I'm just gonna do is gonna make a chain. Long enough to tie. I'm just gonna do a little longer. So now I finished with my strap and I'm gonna measure it. Okay, so it's about 15 inches. So from here, I'm just gonna cut my yarn, pull this tight, and then I'm just gonna reattach my yarn. To the top of the skirt. So I'm just gonna slip stitch like that and then create my chain. Alright, so now that they're at the same size, I'm just gonna cut my yarn again, pull it tight, and then do the same thing that I just showed you. You're just gonna attach your yarn here and then here, make sure it lines up, and then you're done. So those are your straps.